Nigga, welcome back, and it's like that. We back with another episode of Survival Time. This your host, Corny Cash, with the motherfucking most, and we about to have another blast. We about to get into another OG out in Cali. But before I start this shit, I want to say this to the niggas that keep saying I look like Bob Marley and shit. Eat a dick. Anyway, we finna start this shit. See what's up. They say he got into a monster code, he shot the nigga and shit like that. We finna see what's up, though.
Welcome back to another episode of Warren Cali. In this episode, I'ma detail the story of Fred Hill from the Rollin 60 Crips. Now, the first big Snoop Dogg wasn't the rapper from Long Beach. It was a well-known Rollin 60 Crip OG named Fred Hill, aka Big Snoop Dogg. Fred was born around 1958. I
want to say this right quick because like it's a few rappers like that. 50 Cent is like that. It's a real 50 Cent. We're gonna get into him in a future. It's a real Rick Ross. It's real everybody damn near it seemed like. But it's a few rappers that took other niggas' names. But technically Snoop Dogg got his shit from Snoopy, the cartoon character. But his mama called him that. But we're gonna get into this.
Later go by the name Snoop Dogg. Fred would first live on the east side of South Central until around 1967, where he would move on 6th Avenue in the Rollin 60s turf. Now Fred would gain a daily reputation in his community. He was an early member, being around during the formation of the Rollin 60s, with him being around 17 in 1975. Some people would even say he'd be the one to come up with the name Rollin 60s. With his commitment to his gang, he'd become known as one of the most fierce, deadliest Rollin 60 members of the 70s and the 80s. The 60s formed in the 70s on the west side of South Central and became one of the deadliest gangs in Los Angeles, taking on several rivals like Bloods, the Hoovers, and later several other Crips. By 1979, like we all know, the 60s became locked in a war with another gang, also well known as problematic and a ferocious gang in their area, known as the A-Tray Gangsters. The war got so deadly, bodies began to rack up on both sides, and Fred Hill, aka Snoop Dogg, was a
Bro, fuck these YouTube commercials. Fuck them. I don't even need this. I don't even know what the fuck this is up for. I'm a nigga. What do I need to see all of this for? This is for bitches, bitch. Know what the fuck you sending me, ho? I keep talking about these weak ass advertisements.
Was a person locked in on that war. He would gain a reputation for shooting at the A-Trays, and even from Monster Cody's book, he was labeled as an elite shooter from the 60s, along with people like Mumbles, Keto Rock, and others. Fred was such a threat, he even would be the one to shoot Monster Cody 6 times, which Monster Cody will go on to admit himself in an interview on Kev Mack's channel. Fred Hill was even had said to call Monster on his hospital bed after he was shot, and allegedly came to the hospital to finish Monster off.
One guy got a beard, a mustache, one guy got a beard, and one guy's clean shaven. But they're not dressed like gang members. I don't see no bulges where they might be armed. So the guy walks up to me and he says, "Aren't you Monster Cody?" So I said, "Yeah, I'm Monster Cody. I'm A-Tray Gangster. What's up?" And the guy reaches in his coat. He has a pea coat, but he can't get through to the gun apparently because it's the button. And when he reaches in his coat, Lil Hunchy runs and leaves me. When I look towards Lil Hunchy to the left and look back, the guy shoots me in the stomach. Shoots me in the stomach, point blank range, no closer than you and I are, and blows me against the wall. And the impact of the bullet, it doesn't really hurt me, but it surprises me, and the force of it blows me against the wall. And just out of survival, out of the instinct, I rush towards him, try to grab the gun, and he shoots me in the left hand, and my hand hits the wall like it's blown off, where I don't look at my hand. So now I know it's time to go. I turn around and try to run. He shoots me in the back. Bullet that hits me in the back knocks me down on my face. I'm dazed, so now I'm getting up on my knees, and the guy kicks me in the stomach, kicks me over. So I have no alternative but to put my leg up, just try to shield a shot, and he shoots me 3 times in the left leg, and then they run off. Well, Lil Hunchy, he ran the entire block, and he comes back, and he asks me, "What happened?" "Well, damn fool, I'm shot." That's what happened.
Fred would later be arrested.
Nigga, I'm shot. I'm bleeding, bitch. What the fuck you mean? What the fuck happened, you bitch ass nigga? You done ran off on me and left me, bitch. I know the fuck he didn't ask that nigga what the fuck happened. You hoe ass nigga. You done left this nigga whole time and shit, and then you gonna run the block and then come back. You better get a fucking ambulance or get a car or something, nigga. Get me to a hospital, bitch. Fuck I look like telling that nigga what the fuck. I'll tell you after, bitch. Don't ask no dumbass question like that. For anybody who see this shit, if you got a homie out there and you in this situation, do not ask him what the fuck happened. Take him to the motherfucking hospital or give him some motherfucking help. Don't be sitting there lollygagging, bitch.
And do some time for attempted murder. Upon his release, Fred went back into the streets, but in the 90s, he worked part-time several years as a gang counselor for the county agency, community youth gang services, schools, alternative residential facilities, and also church programs. But Fred was still an active member of the 60s, and he had the respect and the fear in his hood, with him being aggressive and stern. Some people will call him a bully, and his involvement in the 60s would never stop. Even the older he got, with him in the 2000s being in his 40s, Fred was even named in the 60s 2003 Gang Injunction as being one of the leaders of the gang.
Bro, if you're in your fucking 30s and 40s, you should be on the decline of being a gangbanger. You should be trying to get these young niggas off the streets and shit like that. This is what the fuck I be talking about. This is what the fuck I was talking about with Big U. How the fuck you gonna be out here like perpetrating and escalating shit at 50, 40 years old? Like, that's crazy. You somebody granddaddy, nigga. What the fuck is wrong with these niggas? Y'all niggas in Cali a little too different from me. Like, y'all supposed to be thinking like towards the future. Y'all thinking too far back. Y'all setting y'allself up for failure every chance chance y'all get, it seem like. How the fuck is you? This don't even make no fucking sense. That's how you know he never had a future to begin with. This is what I be talking about. Pointless ass niggas on the streets doing nothing with no purpose, fucking around. He's still fucking around at 40 like a child.
But Fred's position in the Rolling 60s will later be tested. A woman named Nicole will witness a meeting of the Rolling 60s at an apartment complex located at 6329 South 10th Avenue in Los Angeles on August 25th, 2005. Her cousin was a member of the Rolling 60s and had been killed a day before, and the meeting was to discuss his death, and it was called by Fred Hill, who at the time had super OG status. The apartment complex was a well-known gathering place for the Rolling 60s, and Fred told the Rolling 60 members to wear white t-shirts to identify themselves as members of the gang. Nicole said Fred and a man named Little CJ began arguing over the fact that Little CJ had worn a black t-shirt. Fred embarrassed Little CJ in front of everyone. Little CJ later left the apartment complex and returned with a revolver. He fired the revolver twice and hit Fred. Fred tried to cover his face with his hand and was shot in the wrist and the head. Nicole saw Little CJ running away after the shooting, and an ambulance arrived and Fred was taken to the hospital.
I'm gonna say this before we start this, after this weak ass YouTube commercial. Everybody keep thinking this game, you out here running around shooting motherfuckers. These bullets is going to come back at you. I really want to say that. Stop running around shooting at motherfuckers thinking that you're not gonna get shot back at. That's one thing. Two, to get back into the older thing, niggas need to understand, niggas mentalities become different, niggas respect become different the older you get, because each generation is losing touch with the nigga that you used to be. You're not understanding and looking back on the fact that you're not the same nigga when you was younger. You're not looking on the fact that you don't have the same ruthlessness in you. You're not thinking like a young nigga, you thinking like an older nigga. So you're not thinking for a nigga to come back on you and shit like that, goofy shit like that. But this is what the fuck I'm talking about. You need to get the fuck out the streets because it's not your time no more. That shit is over with. Fuck.
Officers followed the ambulance, then interviewed Fred. Fred said Little CJ from 60s was the one that shot him. A television crew for the Telemundo network was taping a Rolling 60s gathering. A cameraman filmed a man fleeing the scene, and the tape showed the fleeing man turning his head when someone called out, CJ.
Damn, he snitched on that nigga like that. I thought he was gonna come back and try to murder him. Damn, he's like that. Yeah, that's why the fuck you need to get your dumb ass out the streets, you goofy ass nigga. You a civilian officially, nigga. Now you out snitching. You a civilian. Be a fucking civilian. There's nothing wrong with being a civilian, nigga. Fuck is wrong with these niggas? This is exactly what I'm talking about. Goofy shit. When you a civilian, you can call the police. When you in a gang, you can't be calling no police on your gang members, nigga. You supposed to be violating niggas and popping niggas. Stop like with the dumb shit, bro.
Man ran northbound on 10th Avenue to 63rd Street, then turned eastbound towards 7th Avenue. Detectives viewed the videotape and reported that the fleeing man looked similar to Little CJ. September 15th, 2005. Fred called Detective Martin and told him Little CJ shot him after they got into an argument. Fred said the gang members at the gathering were supposed to wear white t-shirts, but Little CJ wore a black t-shirt. Fred said that Little CJ came back with a gun.
Damn, he telling like that, nigga. God damn, he told the whole goddamn. He ain't supposed to. He talking a hell of a lot. He's spilling all the motherfucking tea like the bitches be saying. What the fuck?
The confrontation, and he was the one who shot him. On September 21st, 2005, Fred called Detective Martin, and Fred was trying to help the detective locate Little CJ. On October 24th, 2005, Fred again called Detective Martin, and Fred said he seen Little CJ in the passenger seat of a tan Camaro in the area of Crenshaw Mall. He would say Little CJ reached under his seat if he was reaching for a gun. Then Fred would then drive off.
I don't know if niggas noticed this, was basically what he doing is hunting this nigga on the low, like he toying with this nigga because he know he done snitched 9 times out of 10. He know he got motherfuckers looking for him. 9 times out of 10 the hood done told on the shit. And you feel me? Hood news spread quick as fucking gangs. These niggas is funny though. He basically calling for help from the police. This is what the fuck I'm talking about, bro. Get your old ass out the fucking street, nigga. Get the fuck out the way, bro. Fuck is going on?
Also told Detective Martin on that occasion that Little CJ lived on 7th Avenue, south of 64th Street, in a gray house. On the same day, Fred went to the police station and viewed a photo lineup. Fred was recorded, and this was later played for a jury at trial. Fred would pick out a man, which was Little CJ, and say he was the shooter. Then he began to cry. On October 27, 2005.
Crying is fucking crazy. Crying is crazy, nigga. You was out here popping niggas and killing niggas. Now you out here crying because this nigga crying like he traumatized after getting shot, bro. Get your bitch ass. Get your old ass out the street. That's gonna be the new lingo. Get your old ass out the street for the new years of the millenniums or whatever the fuck this next decade is gonna be, nigga. They need to get their old ass out the street, bro. You don't need to be in the street no fucking 40, 30, 50, nigga. You need to be out of the street doing what the fuck you need to be doing to prosper and build your community up, nigga. Stop being a bitch.
At 8:15 p.m., Fred called police, and Officer Munez was called to the area of South 4th Avenue where he encountered Fred. Fred said he'd been traveling northbound on 6th Street where he saw a tan Camaro traveling westbound. Fred said that the man in the passenger seat of that Camaro, the man who shot him. He would also give a description of the shooter. Fred would later tell Nicole, who witnessed him being shot, that she had to go to a police station with him. on November 2nd, 2005. On that day, Detective Martin showed Nicole the same photo lineup that he shown Fred. She would pick 2 people out as possible shooters, and little CJ was one of them. Nicole told detectives that she was sure she could identify the shooter in person. She also said that she was afraid to testify in court. She said at the time of the shooting, she was in the back of the apartment complex and heard gunshots. Then she ran to the front of the building where she saw little CJ running away from the scene. Fred also told Detective Martin that he was afraid to testify. He was worried about the safety of his family and his girlfriend. After expressing his fear to Detective Martin, Fred dropped out of sight and did not contact Detective Martin anymore. Little CJ will be arrested on February 15, 2006. Police saw little CJ sitting in a car parked in the driveway and approached him and arrested him. Both Nicole and Fred will refuse to testify at little CJ's trial. Fred would recant everything and say he never even knew little CJ and that he never contacted police about anything. Fred would go as far as to saying he never picked little CJ out of a lineup, didn't even remember talking to them in the hospital or on the phone. Fred even continued by saying he didn't remember being in the area of the apartment complex that he was shot in. But even with Fred recanting everything, little CJ would still receive 25 years to life. Little CJ is now 54 years old and is in Solano State Prison. He has been in prison since 2007, where his earliest parole date is 2031. Fred, by many accounts of people, was labeled as a snitch, even after recanting his statements. But many people still love and respect him as an OG and see him for what he did in the streets, being one of the founders of one of the most known gangs in the world, the Rollin 60 Crips.
Okay. This whole fucking story funny as fuck. Okay, first of all, nigga, like I said, get your old ass out the street, nigga. 1, if you in your 30s and 40s, they ain't met you if you old in your 30s. You coming into that age of a man in your 30s, so you need to be building and prospering at that point. You coming out of your 20s, you need to be shaking certain things. You see what I'm saying? You gotta put away certain things when you be coming and coming of age. Oh, as far as what he went through, he funny as fuck. He is a snitch ass nigga, and he is a bitch ass nigga. He a bitch and he a snitch. How you gonna snitch and then bitch back on what you snitched on, then try to come back and recant it? So 9 out of 10, they got that nigga. Probably shook his ass up or whatever, cause like he said, I don't know why the fuck he didn't think about this shit in the first place. These niggas know where the fuck you stay, they know where your mama stay, they know where my mama stay, nigga, they know everything. Fuck, you been in the gang for about 30-40 years, dumbass. Where the fuck was you gonna go after you snitched on everybody? These niggas don't be thinking, and then he's over, I don't know how many years older than this nigga, but to end it all off, this other nigga going to jail for so long, he's 50 something now. I keep trying to get this in niggas' brains though on the low. Time don't stop moving, nigga. Now he wasted his life on some dumb shit, of an argument, a small ass argument about some t-shirt, and this nigga's crying like a bitch because he got shot after he done shot a nigga 6 times. Fuck out of here, nigga. You get what you give back to the world, bitch. Hey, y'all holler at me, check the description, you know what I'm saying? The link gonna be in there, and y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. I'm out. Peace.
Yeah. Hey, you gotta know your purpose, understand what worth is. These snakes is lurking, observing, trying to close your curtain.